Okay guys, here we are in Autocad. Whenever you first launch it, it looks like this. You've got your recent documents on the right hand side, and then you've got this Get Started tab on the left. And if you go ahead and click Templates and come down to No Template Imperial, that's where we're going to begin. Now, the first thing that you want to do is just kind of take a look around. This going across the top is called your ribbon. It's got all of the commands that you probably will ever use, some that you won't, and it's got different tabs under or on top. And if you look just below the ribbon, you've got your different groups of what each do. And I'll refer to this throughout the tutorial just to kind of let you know where I'm finding stuff at. But the first thing that we're going to start off by doing is setting up your units. And you can find that by typing in units and pressing enter. And what that does is brings up you to choose what type of units you want. You can use decimal, which is probably, if you're just playing around in AutoCAD, what you'll be using. You can use architectural, and that's going to be like a 1 foot 6 inch for a 1.5 feet. We're just going to go into decimal here, and we'll turn the precision down to hundredths because we're not going to be getting into anything too crazy. And then just after you've got your unit set, just go ahead and click OK. And what we'll be drawing in, this black screen that you're looking at, is called model space. And that's where all of your drawings are going to be. It's going to be an unlimited or virtually unlimited amount of drawing area. If you go down here where you see layout 1 and click on it, it brings you through to basically your paper, and that's normally referred to as paper space. But here we go. We'll go back into model space, and the next thing that we're going to be doing is we'll start off with the line command, and you can either find it up here in the on the ribbon in the first group, first icon, or what I normally do is it's called a quick command, and it's just you type in part of the name and then hit enter and it starts it. And the one for line is L, so you just hit L, enter, and then that brings up you to draw your first line. And there's a few different ways to draw lines in AutoCAD, but some of them are a little bit more advanced, like using the coordinate system. You'd have to know where you are in the coordinate system. You see the numbers out to the side, that shows where you're at in the coordinate system. But just starting off, just start off drawing a line. You just click where you want it to start, then drag where you want it to go. And you see that green line that comes out whenever I get at 0 degrees? That's called polar tracking. And you see I can kind of get a little bit on either side, and it's still kind of sticky to where it is. It helps with drawing straight lines. But you can either click where you want it to be. Like say we want to get it to 6. See, it's a little tough getting it to 6. But if you start off in that direction and then press 6, enter, it draws the same line. The line command is used for so much in AutoCAD, whether it's laying out a drawing, putting in your models, anything really. Now what I'm going to go over next is going to be drawing angles, drawing a line at an angle. You can either take and pull it up like this and you see the angles coming out, but like with the other one, there's an easier way to do it. If you just go and press shift 2 for the @ symbol, you do however long you want it to be. We'll say 8 this time. And then you see where it says angle 24 right there. Just mimic that and press shift, comma, and then put in whatever angle you want. So we'll do a 45-degree angle right now. 45. And there it goes. That's a 8-unit long line at a 45-degree angle. If you know what angle you want something to be at, like if you've measured it or if you have it on the diagram or sketch or whatever is given to you, that's the most precise way to actually do it. I mean, it's the most easy, precise way of doing it. Now, let's say you want to draw a line, but for some reason your polar tracking isn't actually working. There's some times where it gets a little buggy and it doesn't want to work correctly. You can turn on orthographic mode, and the way that you do that is you can either come down here to the bottom to this little right angle, or you can press F8, and that's going to draw a straight line, and it doesn't matter how far down you come unless you get too close to the origin, and it'll start drawing up and down. But if you just want a horizontal line, you can just drag it as far as you really want to. Also, the way that I'm canceling out these commands is I'll start it, and then if you right click, it pulls up this little quick menu. You can just hit enter from there, or you can hit cancel and just undo the whole thing. Also, if you don't have a command active, you can right click and it pulls up your this menu again. You can either do the last command that you did or the last recent commands that you did. And I think it holds somewhere between 10 and 15 commands. So you can go back, and if you're working quickly, you can just right click and go into recent input or type in the quick code. These are a little bit more advanced. You'll get into them sometime. We'll pick those up in a later lesson. Okay, guys. The next command that we're going to go over is going to be circle. And if you look in the same group that you found the line command in earlier, 2 icons down, you'll see the circle command. And if you hover over the main element, it says center radius. And what that is you pick the center point and then tell AutoCAD what you want the radius to be, and it draws a circle with that radius. But if you come below it, you'll see circle with a little drop down menu. You can click on it, and below it 6 different icons, and they're all different types of ways of drawing a circle. You've got radius, diameter, 2-point, 3-point, tangent, tangent radius, and tangent, tangent, tangent. And depending on how you're needing to design, it pulls up a little quick tip that shows how it's used. But for right now, what we're going to do is just do center radius. And say you come out here to this, and you want a circle with a radius of 1 inch because you need a 2-inch diameter circle. You'll just hit 2 and press enter. Then it's got the 2-inch circle right here. And depending on what you're doing, if you're doing a lot of mechanical drafting, screw holes, stuff like that, you're going to use a lot of circles. I mean, unless you're welding, but that's usually handled in a 3D or by annotation. Now, the next command that we're going to do is going to be copy. And you'll find copy in the next group over under modify. And it's the second one from the top on that first column. You just click on copy. And the quick code for copy, if you want to use it, is CO. If you type in C, you're going to get circle. But with copy, what you do is you see it pops up and says select objects. You just select that circle that you wanted. And then you can either hit space, enter, or you can right click. And then it says specify base point. And what you want to be careful with that is if you choose something, just some random spot out here, like say you click out here, you're going to use that as your base point. And wherever you put that next circle is going to be directly related to that base point. So if you wanted to get it back over there, you're not going to have an exact snap to put it over the top of it. And that works pretty well. Say if you've got a title block or a certain object that you're needing to reference, but you don't need it in that same spot. You just need it the exact distance away. Say you're copying a chair from a wall and you want to put it that same distance from the next wall. You can select that wall. Here, I'll draw one of those, something like that real quick. Say that right there is your wall, and you're wanting to copy this circle that same distance away from that wall. We'll go ahead and copy that wall right here and say it's down here somewhere. Rather than drawing a line, figuring out how far it is and what angle it is, you can actually go in and CO enter, select that circle, select this corner of the wall. You can come down here and voila, you've got it that same distance away from the wall over here. And it helps laying out architectural style. I did layouts for theaters, and if they wanted it uniform from a wall where the chairs for the theater or the rockers go, that's a pretty decent way of getting it set up. Or if you're trying to compare layouts, you can copy from a base point that you know that you have that hasn't changed, like say the exterior wall, and overlay them to see what's different. Now, the next command that we're going to cover is I'm going to go over trim and extend. I'm going to go over trim and extend right now. And the reason that I chose to go over these together is because they're so closely related. We'll just not worry about this. Let's come back over here to these. Trim and extend. If you come up here, you'll find trim in the third column over at the very top. And click it. And it says select objects. And whenever you first start trim, you've got two different methods of actually using it. You can come over here and select this circle and right click, and it says select object to trim. You can't trim anything because there isn't anything that intersects with this circle. But say we've got this line that comes up through the circle. Now you can do trim, select this circle, right click, and then it's going to trim back to this circle. Now let's get that a little bit farther out to where you can see how that actually does. And we'll start that up, select the circle, right click. Whoa. I didn't do that right. Didn't do that right, guys. Okay, let's do it like this. Trim, we'll select this circle, right click, and then see how it all disappears? That means everything past this line, this arc, will disappear whenever you click it. And now, you see where it says select object to trim or shift select to extend? That's going to be the second way that we use trim. You can actually start trim up, and then instead of selecting an object, you can right click and it goes ahead and starts trim. And this is power trim or extend, where you can go through and trim what you want to off of this line instead of having something selected. Or you can press shift and extend it to whatever you want it to. As long as there's something in front of it, it will extend to the next body. And it works pretty well in conjunction with trim, because most of the time if you're trimming something, you need something that's a little bit longer to what it needs to be, and trim extend work pretty well together. That's about all I've got for you today. The next video, we're going to be going over a few more of the basic commands that will help you start designing proficiently. If you liked the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. But if you don't mind, stop down in the comments and let me know why you didn't like the video. Any kind of feedback helps with the developing channel. Help me get a little bit better so I can help you get better at AutoCAD. If you have any questions about Fusion 360 or SolidWorks, I work in those just about every day. If I can't find the answer, I'll find somebody that can and get back to you. And as always, guys, have a nice day.